So, awareness. It's pretty much the most important skill in Battlefield. You need to be aware of your enemies to make sure that you can get the upper hand on them. I think awareness is something that defines a really good player from an amazing player and a good player from a bad player. It's just so key to the game, and there are so many tips that I can give you to make your awareness better. Obviously using the minimap is going to be in there, but I wanted to go even more into depth to make you more aware so that you can always know where your enemies are before they even have a clue that you're there. It kind of ties in again with the stealth, knowing about where your enemies are and how to move around them effectively. Like here, I was aware that there was a sniper there, but I didn't think I had the best shot on him, so I just left him. I knew there was a sniper on that rock, and I was just I kind of forgot about it there, but I needed to take him out, and I just waited for him and waited in my own time to know that I could actually get a shot off on him. Awareness is just so key to the game, and if you don't know how to be aware of your surroundings, you're going to get nowhere. So the first tip I've got for you guys is the minimap. Now the minimap is obviously very, very key, and it is pretty much in every single first-person shooter, so using it is very important. Now obviously the red dots are the enemies, the blue dots are your friends, and the squads are your green dots. Now although this is pretty straightforward, there is different ways you can utilise this. If you can see that your squad member, in this picture here, you can see in the bottom left my squad member is pretty much behind the enemies. Now if I was to die, I would know that he was pretty much the best person to spawn on, because I know where he is in relation to the enemies. Just keeping an eye on that mini-map to know where your friends are and if they need backup is always going to be a hand in any game mode, whichever one you're playing. Another really useful tip is to press N whenever you're running. It just centers your minimap onto 50 meters rather than the auto. You can press it to go to 100 also, I do believe, and even 150. So if you want to be sniping at longer ranges, you can always use the minimap at 150 to show you players that are up to that distance away. 50 if you're playing close range like I like to with my snipers as a aggressive recon, and always a 100 or the auto if you want to sort of be somewhere in the middle. For recon players, you've got the best sort of setup to be aware of your enemies. You can always throw down the motion sensors or snap down the tugs on the ground where you're camping and set up a nice sniper point. Just little things like this can show you where the enemies are, but not only just for you, but for the whole team. Things like this can be a real help in the battlefield and can basically mean the difference between a victory or a loss. If you haven't already, I would definitely recommend you go and watch my cover tips video. Not to boast or anything, but it literally just tells you exactly what you need to know for taking cover in the game. Now if you know your enemies have a certain line on you, you want to get away from that line so that only they can't see you and you know where they are, so you can get the jump on them. Now using cover is obviously going to be very important, so if there's enemies to my right, I want to have cover to my right, so only a limited amount of them can see me, otherwise I'm just going to be mowed down by a group of guys using the Ace-23 or the M416. Keeping rocks, buildings, or even containers, or even other players to your right or left, depending on which side the enemy's on, can be a real help to you in the battlefield. With the netcode in BF4 in the state it currently is, it's quite difficult to anticipate what's going to be around the corner, because very often you'll turn a corner and an enemy will see you before you've even turned it, or you'll turn it and on their screen you've been round for ages, so they've got an easy shot on you to take you out. Now, it is a good idea to be cautious when going around corners or exiting your cover, just for this reason. Hopefully in the future of the game, it will fix and basically become a lot easier for us to counter that. However, at the minute, that's just the way you're going to have to play and you're going to have to put up with it. I would definitely recommend taking the V40 mini grenades, because they are so useful to spam. And I know it sounds stupid, grenade spamming like that, but if you don't know if someone's around a rock or something, it's not going to kill you to throw one of your 3 grenades over that rock to see if there is someone there. If there is, then it might not be sensible for you to go that direction. Maybe take a more cautious approach, or send someone in with a better weapon suited for that sort of combat. Sound is something that's really important to Battlefield 4, and in fact most other FPS games. If you know where your enemies are by using the footsteps and their gunshots, etc, etc, you can always know where they're coming from. If you're playing a recon like me, it's very sensible to throw down the C4 in the direction you know they're coming. I don't think I get a chance to do that in this game or this sort of video that you're watching right now, because the map is so open. But if it was, say, on something like Lancang Dam, where there is insides on the domination map, I can always throw it down on the stairs if I think someone's coming up. Should they have an Ace-23, an L85, or a weapon that's going to be firing faster than mine to take me out a lot quicker. Always keep an ear out for the enemy footsteps and their gunshots. Make sure you're looking across your whole field of view. I like to play on about 90 to 100. It varies from time to time for me, depending on what sniper I'm using, what weapon I'm using, and what playstyle I'm going for, but generally I play on about 90 to 100. I just like to keep an eye out to see where there's bullets flying across. You can see my guys firing over at those enemies down there, and they're firing back, they're returning fire. So it's just an idea to just keep an eye out for the bullets that are flying past you. Just make sure you you know where they're coming from and make sure you know who's firing them, because you don't want to have to turn around, look at your friends and then realise that you thought they were enemies and be shot in the back. Another thing to do is always to wait for your squad members to spawn on you before entering a building which you believe to have a large amount of enemies in there. You'd be surprised how many times I'm standing outside a building and I see one guy run into a building with about 6 or 7 enemies in and just come up on the kill cam, and you just see him dead, and I sort of wonder why he didn't just wait for me and the rest of my squad to back up and give him some help in there, because it just really is a huge killer on the game. But other than that, guys, there's not too much to say, so I hope these tips do help you out on the battlefield, and it will help you improve your game a lot. Playing conservatively isn't always a bad thing. It will increase your KD, and it can, in times, be a lot better for your team, because if you're running in and dying 24/7, it's just not going to give them a spawn beacon if you're in their squad, or even a place to hold somewhere down. So always playing conservatively isn't always the best idea, but you don't have to be aggressive all the time. But other than that, guys, there's not much to say, so thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that subscribe button, leave a comment and a thumbs up. But other than that, nothing to say, so my name is Snuggly, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.